Welkom bij Filmhoek. Deze week hebben we een interview met Robin Brown, de schrijver, acteur en regisseur van de Pokémon fanfilm genaamd The Resurgence. Bij ons via Skype is Robin Brown. So, first of all, you created this wonderful, gritty little story. Tell us about how it all started.
Basically, originally started with, I saw this film, which was a Power Rangers film, set in the future, bootleg universe, but it was like, it went viral. It went like 1 million views in a day, not knowing that he's quite a big director. And I was like, oh, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else, because that's such a cool concept, because I grew up with Power Rangers as a kid. Seeing Power Rangers in more of a dark, gritty kind of atmosphere was really cool and really something that appealed to me. And I remember seeing, I was doing a gym session with my mate, and afterwards we had a couple of drinks. I'm like, have you seen this film? Watch it. And then we just sat around talking about what possibly I could come up with. And we threw a bunch of like small Australian cartoons that were around back in our day when we were kids. And then I'm like, what about Pokemon? Like, what if we got really dark and gritty with Pokemon, but not, like, let's just get dark and gritty. And then in the same similar time, there was that news article about the last northern male white rhino and the hopes to try and keep it alive, or not keep it alive, but make it breed in time to save the species. And I'm like, well, there's my idea. That's it. I'm just going to kill all the Pokemon. One, because I don't have the budget for CGI that I would be happy with. So I could just not have them and just kill them and make them extinct. And two, it was kind of topical and something I really believe in and enjoy thinking about. Not enjoy thinking about, but you know, that concept of what are we doing to the planet? So those two ideas kind of merged together, and my mate we went for walks and stuff, and he was just listening to me as I just tried to come up with what I wanted from the story, where I wanted Ash to go, and how I wanted it to end, which changed quite a bit from the actual, like, still the same ending, but quite a different ending. I wanted the ending, in the original script, the ending was, it was only Ash and Oak, and Oak shows Ash all these Pokemon balls, and he grabs one, the camera flips around, he presses it, and you see Oak and Ash look into the Pokeball, and it fades to black, and that was pretty much it. And I wanted people to be like, oh, what's next? What was in there? What was in there? But to me, nothing was in there, because Oak's crazy and Pokemon are extinct. It's too much damage. It's done. If I faded to white, would have given us a bit of hope, but black, no hope. So that's kind of where it all kind of started, and then it evolved to the film you guys have been able to watch. And, you know, the trailers came out, and the only negative feedback I got from the trailers was like, oh, you're making a Pokemon film. Where are the Pokemon? Like, well,
I read some of those comments, Yeah,
like, they're extinct. Just read the bio.
Yeah.
But that was the only negative comment. I'm like, you know what? Let's try and put them in. I'll give you Pokemon. I'll give you some dead Pokemon. It was never shot for that, and I had, obviously, a couple of issues with the CGI style in the end. But, you know,
it works.
I got them in, and it was kind of nice in the end.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answered the question.
Definitely, yeah. It actually ties in really well to my next question, because you raise a lot of political issues like pollution in the beginning, dictatorship, of course, and we're in this precarious time that things, I don't know about Australia, but certainly here in Europe and the US, liberties are stripped away, and we're moving towards, slowly but surely, to a less freer society. Is that something that you were consciously developing for this story?
I mean, Trump really has affected the entire world, hasn't he? I was really hoping for that. Definitely the political issue of what we're doing, and, you know, the repression of people. Was something I really wanted to touch on, and obviously, in the 36 minutes the film goes for, there's so much, especially the extinction issue, I didn't get to touch on as much as I wanted. Like, I did have a street stall that had, you know, Pokemon horns and furs for sale and all this sort of stuff that I wanted to just subtly throw in the background. So a lot of that stuff didn't get in. But yeah, the stranglehold that people are losing their freedom and their just way of life was something that kind of really sits with me and something I like to explore. You know, there's another thing like homelessness, all this stuff that I'm sure we could fix very, very easily. But greed just makes sure we can't do any of that. You know, people at the top stay at the top.
Yes.
And they end up affecting everyone else's lives.
A lot can happen in 20 years. But no one ever imagined this.
Still, it was an amazing film to watch, even if you don't know Pokemon as well.
That was right from the beginning. The first person that read the script would laugh at me if I said I'm making a Pokemon film. I wrote a script and I hadn't showed anyone because I've been writing some other things that a lot of people have read, but I was pretty confident with this script, and I showed someone who wasn't a Pokemon fan. And at the end, when the Pokemon is kind of revealed, obviously in the original script there are no Pokemon. There's nothing to give away Pokemon apart from if you're a fan, here's the characters' names, this is the town it's set in. There's all these subtle little things in the script to give away it's a Pokemon film. But I never wanted it to be a Pokemon film in the slightest, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, just a broader audience. I wanted the Pokemon fans to go, this is so cool, I grew up with Pokemon, look at it now.
Yeah.
And then show their partners or friends who didn't give a shit about Pokemon. And all those people went, oh my God, this is cool. I wanted the people to go, oh my God, this is cool. Holy shit, it's about Pokemon. I didn't grow up with Pokemon. I didn't like Pokemon, but this is really cool.
Yeah.
So those sort of things I kind of really wanted just as a marketing tool. And then on top of that, I thought, well, I'm really destroying what Pokemon was for me as a kid. It was, Ash has been 10 for 21, 22 years now. Yeah. He hasn't grown up. It's this childlike thing. And I'm killing a kid. Ash is snorting cocaine. There were more hookers involved in the original script. It's not
darn
child friendly.
Yeah.
And Nintendo are notorious for nibbing that in the butt. So if they did, I could easily replace Pokemon with animals. And just the only reason I did Pokemon to begin with was hopefully to get a bigger audience. If I just did a film about animal extinction, it might not reach as many people.
Yeah. Faith has it that Nintendo, I kid you not, is literally one floor down from the studio. Nintendo Benelux.
Really?
Really.
Hilarious.
And my question was, did you have any reaction from Nintendo?
No reaction yet. We were worried. At some point in time, like my co-producer was like, let's just try and do a Kickstarter. We've done this. Let's get a Kickstarter. We've filmed it. We've done it. We've got a couple of trailers out. Let's get a Kickstarter to try and help you get more funds to get this thing happening a bit better and a bit quicker. And I ummed and ahed about that. But I'm like, you know what? I've come this far. And if Kickstarter did take off and people really want, because at that time, the trailers alone had received 200,000 views. So there was a bit of momentum in that first. The idea was to release one trailer, then the next trailer, and then hopefully had the film finished, which was not anywhere near the timeline that we ended up doing it in. But I just thought, if Nintendo did shut me down, I've filmed this amazing film and I can't show it to the world now. Yeah. So I just kind of kept it a bit hush as much as I could, and kept everything Nintendo out of it. But no, nothing. I wanted to. I really, really want them to. I want them to shut me down. I want them to come after me with everything they've got, to be honest with you, because it's publicity.
The locations. There are many different locations in this 34-minute film, and I'm not counting this 2 minutes.
Stupid amount of locations for the first film I've ever made.
How did you go about finding them? Especially the strip joint. It costs a lot to just hire a joint for a day, and the graffiti alley, or what is it called?
The alley, the street scene. Yeah, that sucked. That was expensive.
Oh yeah,
that was a big day. The strip joint at Gary's Club, that was really easy. There was just a bar that they are only open from this time onwards. So it was quite easy to say, hey, can we have the bar from 9 in the morning till 4 before you get ready to open up at 5. And it wasn't too expensive, actually. It was fairly cheap.
Oh, really?
It was a bar where I think my co-producer had frequented quite a bit and said, I think this might have the look that you're wanting, because I wanted his bar to look so much different from the world. I wanted the world to look like just there was nothing left, no money, no nothing. I wanted real dark, gritty. But inside his club, I wanted to be.
It's posh.
Really
There's yeah. So
that was actually a pretty easy one to find.
Oh, really?
It was never really a stressful moment looking for that location. Say something like I just got lucky. I got really, really lucky with the whole film. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of everything I was putting into it, that, if you give, you get back. Because I don't know. We're trying to find the place for the war scene. My co-producer was like, my sister works with this lady who has this property that the whole house burnt down in bushfires, and she's happy to let you use it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we'll go check the property out. And there was this big pile of logs, which is what we ended up using. We built the rest of the set around that, using everything in her property. We just built and we'd getting junk was pretty easy to find junk. But as we were driving there, we saw this radio tower. Like, you know what? That's a really cool radio tower.
I love that shot when you're walking up the hill.
Maybe we can use that radio tower at some point. So I'd go back and put that into the script. The gym scene, which is the broken gym, my favourite location. Just because I can't afford a location like that. I was driving, showing my DOP was like, I've got this idea for the tunnel, which I'd filmed in before. I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. And then we're going to go back to a place you see Ash run through where the train passes.
Yes.
We're going to go check and do some stuff over there. And on the way there, my DOP was like, we drove past this big warehouse. And he's like, that warehouse is abandoned. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I know abandoned warehouses. That one's abandoned. Turn around. Let's go back. So I turned around. We tried to, it was all boarded off, but we found this little hole. So we snuck in and saw what we saw. And we're like, this thing is incredible. Like, we have to use this. So again, I wrote it into the script. Oak's house, which unfortunately you don't get to see enough of it, is the most beautiful set we had. We spent ages on that set, painted it from top to bottom. It looked amazing, but you don't see it, doesn't show in the film. That was my co-producer's mum and dad's business house, little room at the back. They said we could do whatever we want with, just paint it back to normal afterwards.
Yeah.
So all the locations, I got really lucky in the end. I drove past a tunnel. I'm like, let's use this tunnel for when they come out. We went down there, had a look. But, it was 9 months. We did spend 9 months location scouting. So it's not, we drove all around Melbourne and Greater Melbourne in our area. So we'd spend a day over in this section and then a day over in this section. So it wasn't, I say luck, but we scoured around for so many locations. And I think I've said in the behind the scenes thing with the kids running down, that was just luck. And on the day, we full sun shining through that, which was raining pretty much the rest of the day. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, especially for your opening shot. That's the money shot right there, running.
Yeah, and that
with the boulders in the back and Pikachu hopping on them. It's a wonderful shot.
Yeah, I wanted that one bit back in time to be the happy. Everything else I just wanted grim and dark and bleak and just whereas that moment when they're kids and they're starting on their journey and the whole world is just an adventure, I wanted it to be amazing. And on the day, for that moment that we shot, the clouds parted and the sun comes out, and it makes the location look so much better than it actually was. It was a paddock on the side of a freeway.
Yeah, but it's bizarre.
Like I said, we just got lucky and spend a lot of time. And I think that's potentially something that a lot of independent filmmakers forget.
Yes, you need to think on your feet as an indie filmmaker. You need to think on your feet and be flexible and use whatever comes on your way. Otherwise, it's an ordeal if you don't. Yeah.
But in saying that, when you got to use whatever comes your way, that also gives the impression that a lot of indie filmmakers, I feel, rush a production.
True.
You know, as an actor, I get scripts going, here, audition for this film, we're shooting in 3 weeks. I'm like, whoa, what else have you done? Like, this is the 3rd draft of the script. People are getting my script. I've been working on the script for a year.
No.
You know, it's not 3 drafts in. I'm still working on the script. I auditioned 250 odd people for the roles. You know, I think, you know, being flexible and, you know, is almost a cop out for independent film. Oh, we're independent filmmakers. We got to do it. We got to do guerrilla style. Yeah, you do have to.
Yes,
in
but
points. But why don't you take a couple extra months in pre-production and trying to get it out? You know, so it's
properly. Yes. Yeah.
To make, you know, so restrictions financially are getting less and less, but I think we still put in less time in the things that are important. Even the posters in the back, or what's in a room of a house.
The set dressing. Yeah.
You know, those little details, just spend a little bit more time on and think about it. Don't just chuck up any poster. Don't just put a vase there because we need to fill space. You know, I've been on so many sets where a camera guy goes, oh, the shot looks empty. What have we got? And then someone goes, oh,
here's a vase, here's a telephone. Yeah, chuck it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, why? Why is that poster there?
Yeah.
You know, but if you've got a really great art department, and again, I had a really amazing art department, everything was ready.
Yeah.
You know, and everything was there for a reason. So.
Yeah, the poster, for example, that is being stuck on the wall.
Love it.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's gritty. It's like, well, this is how the poster would have looked like in the Second World War if you had to make them manually, go and print them. And
oh yeah, I want to sell them so much. Yeah, Kate did such an amazing job on those posters.
I'll definitely buy one. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they're badass posters.
And I love that match cut that you did. That the kid hangs the poster on the camera, and you cut.
Hangs it, and he doesn't get it up in one, like every other shot. He got it up perfectly, but we just love the shot that it just doesn't stick and kind of falls down. It's great.
Yeah, and the guards were rushing in. The costumes are also very immaculate. How did you go about creating the costumes, thinking them up?
When I met Kate, who was my art designer and costume designer, she was, the first meeting of her, because she was recommended by my camera guy. He's like, I worked with this girl. She's amazing. Go meet her if you like her. I met her, and instantly she had a book, and she'd been sketching things, and I'm like, yes, this is what I want. I want someone with passion. Like I'm very passionate, and that's what brought this film together. But I want the people working on it to also have passion for their craft. And she had all these sketches, and then we discussed what I want. I'm like, look, what I'm wanting is, like I said, I want this film to be in the future, and I want no one to really know it's Pokemon unless they're a Pokemon fan. So, but I'd still like to pay respect to the original costumes. And she's like, yeah, cool, we can do that. And, you know, even the subtle Misty's braces, she doesn't wear them, they hang off down the side. It's just one of those things Kate was very, very, very good at. Got exactly what I wanted, did everything within budget, and if, you know, it wasn't actually that hard. Like probably the Rocket Soldier's costume was pretty hard, and I got a paintball mask, and I found online like an old style helmet that kind of had a World War II-ish feel.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, which I really liked. So I bought a bunch of them, and I'm like, look, can we put this? I want this and this stuck together. Can we do that? And she's like, yeah, we can do that. And she put a couple of cords, a couple of tubing things in there to make it a bit more futuristic. But it did the World War II soldier. You know, you're going back to the dictatorship that is underlying in there. We get that Nazi Germany feel coming through.
Yeah, you have like easily 30 people in your cast without the extras.
Yeah, no, again, a stupid thing to do for your first film.
Oh, yeah.
What am I thinking?
What are you thinking? Exactly. How did you go about casting them? You said you had 200 odd casting
I went
calls.
Around 250 people. I'm pretty open. Like, I knew certain people So Joy, I knew right from the beginning, and I'm like, yeah, I've written this role for you. But I still auditioned. I still auditioned for everyone, even everyone, like a lot of the people I've worked with or studied with, and a couple of people I hadn't really. So those ones I had recommendations, but regardless, I just opened up auditions. I had a big day where we auditioned for probably 12 hours, and that was mostly full. And of course, in an independent production, even though I'm saying it's paid production, you still have a couple of people that say, my car's broken down, I can't get to the audition, whatever. But so we churned through all that, but I wanted to be open. So I also said, please send me in self-tapes. And I got flooded with self-tapes. And funnily enough, the Brock I did want was from Sydney. So the capital of Australia, not the capital, but up in New South Wales, from where I am from in Melbourne. And he nailed his self-test. It was amazing. But his agent refused to for him to fly down. I had to fly him down every time I wanted to rehearse. And because I was putting everything I had into this film, I just that was an extra expense I couldn't really justify. So I had to go back to the drawing board and kind of go out and audition more people and go around. We ended up getting a great Brock in the end.
Yeah. Brock is a great.
He brings in the humour that probably the other guy we're looking at didn't have right from the very beginning, because I didn't see that.
The one shot that you walk out with your cap on.
Comedy relief.
There's this one shot that you walk out with your cap on.
Whoa. What's that? Take it off. What are you, like 10?
Yeah, that's my favourite line, and I feel like no one respects it as much as they should.
I totally dug it.
It's a genius line. Ash has only ever worn a hat when he was 10.
Yeah.
This makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I'm getting nothing, no feedback on that line.
Oh, I love that line, yeah.
That.
And the way how he delivers it, straight-faced.
Exactly.
And
The delivery on that line, how he stops it. Chris did a very good job.
Awesome, yeah.
But yeah, so just, again, a lot of time. I wasn't in a rush. Ideally, the film was meant to come out on the release of Pokemon Go, because when I thought of the idea, another mate of mine was like, oh, they're releasing this online game on phones for Pokemon. I'm like, oh, maybe I can get it all in time. Obviously, again, it didn't work that way, so I missed that hype. But, I don't want to rush the film and sacrifice the quality. So I put a lot of time and effort into just making sure whoever sent me a video I watched. And I only have to watch 5-10 seconds to know if I want to watch any more, but I did. And then if they were good enough, I said, come along if you can for the real auditions, because you've passed the first test and we'll go from there. And that's kind of how I'd like to do most of my auditioning for film from now on out, because you never know what someone's going to bring to a role. Like, I have an idea in my head of what I need it to be. And Gary, for example, who is a good friend of mine, Dennis, never ever saw him. Originally, he auditioned for Oak, and we, just because he's that little bit older than I am, so it was kind of like, it's a bit hard to, as far as the law goes, they're the same age. But what he brought to that audition, no one else could compete. And so, it changes what you think when you are a little bit more open-minded to seeing everyone and not being so focused on, this is what I want. I want this as my character. They need to play it like this. I've been to an audition once where they told me exactly how to say the lines. If you're that confined, you
do it yourself.
Then
do it yourself.
So many beautiful moments.
Yeah.
So just time and making sure I watched everything that came through. And that's how I kind of got the cast in the end.
Wow.
They all did an amazing job.
Yeah, definitely. It's.
And it's one of those things, like, I know they say there's no small parts, only small actors. Like, even my minor little roles nailed it.
Yeah.
And there's no weak link in those minor roles, which is really, really nice.
Exactly, especially in the alley scene where you have all the extras standing there. You can actually feel that they want to actually engage, but they're afraid of the repercussions.
Everyone talks about
and
that
it
one
works.
extra. Everyone talks about him. He was a champion, and he does this. Put the gun down. He does all this stuff. Yeah. Everyone talks about that one guy. I don't even know his name. I have no idea who he is.
That is and everyone in the alley scene has that trepidation, like they want to confront the injustice, but you see that they're afraid, and it really comes together.
Cool to have those extras really flesh out the scene and almost give me a world.
Yes.
You know? And again, we didn't get enough time to do coverages, but some of those extras have their own little market stalls. And Catherine, when she comes running down, throws a bike into one of them, and I was like, "Oh, Catherine playing the mother throws a bike," and we didn't get a cutaway shot of that, and all these beautiful little moments happening there. But everyone was ready. You know, that was a really good scene.
Yeah,
it's such a big scene.
It's a beautiful scene, and it really ties the whole world together. And
it fills your world. That's the world they live in. You know, they live in fear.
Yeah.
Especially on the outskirts. Yeah.
Every movie you have, especially as a director, but also as an actor, you have your challenges. What was the biggest challenge for you as an actor and as a director in this film?
The biggest challenge for me it was juggling everything. Mm-hmm. I want everyone on my set to be really happy and enjoy, because if they're happy, they're going to do what I need them to do. But at the same time, it's really hard to please a lot of people, and a lot of people came into this thing knowing that I was self-funding this film.
Yep.
I was doing it all off my own back, and anything that I hadn't got, I was still going to work towards, and everyone be paid and this sort of thing. And so those moments where a couple of crew people didn't read the fine print and demanded overtime, which were already really, really tight. We were really, really tight on things. And so those moments where you're like, oh my God, we've got 14 more shots to shoot. We've got an hour before we clock into overtime. And we've only shot 3 shots. As an actor, you don't have to worry. But when you're having that producer's brain going, oh my God, this is costing me, I don't have this money. He wants this much an hour. I make this much an hour. That's 10 hours of my life gone out the door for 1 hour. He's overtime. Those things were really, really hard to stay in the moment and stay focused on acting. I know there was, especially in the club scene, that specific moment I just mentioned was over at Oak's house, but in the club scene, I was at a really good point. But then one of my mates who plays Damien, he wants to joke around because we're really good mates, and I'm meant to be focused. And he starts joking around, and then I'm also juggling everything else, that my emotional state just dropped to nothing. Like completely I had nothing. And my takes and everything I was giving back to Dennis were just shit. Like I think we had half an hour left, and we just decided to turn onto, we had to do my close-ups and stuff then, in the last half an hour before we had to get out of the bar. And I said to Moz, I'm done. We'll get another day. I won't do it. I'm not going to get there. We can't. I don't have enough time. I'm not mentally there. And those sort of struggles it's really frustrating, because at the time, it ended up costing me a lot more money to make the film. But at the time, like, I spent this much money on this film, and now I'm doing it for my own career. Like, I'm doing it hopefully to avenues as an actor, as a writer, as a director, as whatever, as my company, but definitely as an actor, because that's where I started. And I'm just shit. I've thrown all this money into this thing. I've thrown every cent I own into this thing, and I'm not delivering. And I said, I'll do it another day. And he was like, we can't, we don't have another day. I'm like, well, I'll make another day. I'll just do it. And he goes, look, go take 5 minutes. And I took 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I did just, as I told you, sit and think and go, oh my God, this is all the money I own into this film, and I'm wasting it. And that just got me back in the same spot as where I needed to be. It wasn't what I started working on, but just that feeling of letting myself down was enough to get my performance up to a level where I'm kind of happy with. So those challenges of juggling everything and the finances, directing and acting, I don't think are as an issue as the finances when you don't have the finances, when you're still working for the finances, and it is your money, and you're not actually expecting a cent back. Like, thank you to you. The film's made $1.99.
Woo!
but that's not what I like. Yeah, if it can make some money, but it's more of a leg in, and I'm putting a lot of.
It's your business card.
Basket. And so that thought process of letting myself down and that juggling, that constant juggle of trying to keep people happy, but knowing you can't keep everyone happy. Like, one of the people threatened to sue me, all this sort of stuff, because they weren't happy with the result that ended up happening, because I just couldn't afford to have a second person there. So they ended up kind of getting fired, I guess. And that was, they had an issue with my co-producer and all this sort of stuff. Those things are really hard to juggle. Yeah. Those on-set dramas that can happen while you're trying to act and trying to create a film, that was really, really difficult.
And they always happen.
I'm not looking at wanting to do anytime soon. Like, I'd like someone else maybe to focus purely on directing, that I don't have to watch takes back or do anything else. Like 100% no directing for me. I'll focus on the acting side. And if I'm producing it, that's always going to be a stress, but it won't be as stressful.
Yeah, that's the reason why in Hollywood it's so over-regulated. There's this massive hierarchy, but it makes sure that people can only do that little piece of their business that they are really good at, but that's a luxury that we don't have.
That's a luxury. That's a luxury that we, as independent filmmakers, don't have. Yeah. And as independent filmmakers, you just got to get it done.
Yeah. Make it happen. So you already mentioned your production company, Revolving Door Productions.
Yeah.
What is there in the future for your company?
For the company, well, I have been writing a World War II miniseries for the past 6 years that I think is amazing.
Wicked.
So kind of like Band of Brothers style that I'd love to do. I'd love to finish. But, that would require quite a large budget that I don't have, so I still need to get, hopefully this film can give me a bit of a name or a bit of a door opening to say, hey, read this other script. This is what I wrote. Read this script and see if you want to fund it. A lot of people seem to be wanting part 2 of this film, so Resurgence I might look at doing a part 2 and part 3, and I'm throwing a couple of ideas in my head, bouncing them around. I have another film I'm kind of writing at the moment that's, again, similar concept, similar, but not so much animal extinction, but just planet annihilation. Like, the world is now completely. Again, the lack of hope that I may or may not give hope at the end, but a lack of hope or hopelessness the hopelessness in a world is something I enjoy thinking about and looking into. So there's that. I've got a rom-com or just a nice little film.
A friendly film.
Feel-good film. And then I have another one which is kind of started out as a comedy, a pure comedy, but now is going to kind of a bit of a heist comedy, kind of Snatch-esque, like a really awesome film, but funny at the same time. And some other small little things here and there that I may or may not be able to get off the ground quicker. So a lot.
Patience. Yeah. What is it that you want to let Pokemon fans definitely know about the Resurgence?
I want them to know about the Resurgence.
About the movie, yeah. What is it you definitely want them to know about this movie?
Honestly, I just hope that they can not see a Pokemon film for 2 seconds and see the messages that you seem to see behind it. Like, some people don't see that, and that's something I definitely want them to think about. The animal extinction, like I said, strangely enough, the day I released the film online is the day the rhino dies. That was one of the huge inspirations for the film. We're living in a world where animals are still endangered. Like, how are they still endangered? How are we still hunting things for, there's still people out there in the world that goes, oh God, we've got one elephant left. I want to kill that. I want to be the person that kills that.
No.
Like, there are people in this world that think like that. And so hopefully, for just a split second, the audience and the Pokemon fans and anyone who just watches the film can take that away and just go, wow, yeah, cool. What would the world be like if nothing did exist anymore? Yes, probably we couldn't survive, but just think about that for a split second. No birds tweeting in the morning waking you up. No pets, no dogs, no cats. Nothing. Just us humans hating each other. You know? And that's probably one of the things I'd love people to take. I am really loving that people just wanted a second part. That's another cool thing. I didn't think that would be the reaction. Even though I wanted to leave it on that moment where people go, you can't finish there. I just didn't think people would enjoy it. And the small amount of people that have seen it, like, it's still not a large amount of people that have watched the film yet. And I can't wait for more people to watch it and have that reaction and go, what's next? Because what's next? Yeah, you get your Pokemon, but it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's gonna hopefully make people think even more about some of the things that I'm trying to raise awareness about. Yeah.
Wow. Cool one. And as a final closer, you did a marvelous job on this picture. It's, like I said, I instantly fell in love with it. But what is it about this picture, except from completing it, because that is, of course, the monumental task.
Yeah, that is. Some films so good made.
Is what you're particularly proud of?
Aside from finishing it, what I'm particularly proud of, I guess a lot of times in my life I've said to people that I'm going to do something, and most people say, they throw doubt, or you can't do that, or, you know, one of the examples was, I'm going to run 14Ks, and they're like, Robin, you've never run 14Ks in your life, are you going to train? I said, no, I'm just going to run 14Ks. Yes, I was sore the next day, but I ran 14Ks. It's like when you have those people that doubt, or, you know, people think the project's too ambitious. That's probably the one. Like, everyone's like, you know, this is a really ambitious project. And I started out as just me. I was legitimately at one point in time sanding down a Nerf gun and painting it to kind of come up with the weapons that I wanted to use in the film. Having that, yes, it does kind of tie in with completing the film, but just being able to go forward and have a dream and have some form of success with that dream, it kind of opens up possibilities for everything else. And I'm proud that I don't think, you know, I think in this industry, it's a side topic, but I think in this industry, especially as independent filmmakers, we rely heavily on Kickstarter. Please help me make a project. Please help me make this film. It's my
Not
big
fond
dream.
of it, to be honest, but
You'll do it yourself first.
yeah.
You know, then people can support you. Get off your ass, do it yourself first, and show people you're worth giving money to. Don't give me $5,000 just because I want to make a film that's going to go nowhere, or it's going to win a couple of short little film festival awards, but never bring any income back in.
No.
Do it yourself. Don't go out that weekend. And those things I'm pretty proud of, that I just did it. And how everyone just wanted it, and the crew and cast around me just fell in to doing it as well. They saw my passion and they wanted to get it done and make it look as amazing as it did. So yeah, it's hard to not say getting it done, but you know, the things behind getting it done, you know, that I actually did. A lot of people said you're crazy, like and even my co-producer Reese, the first time we met and he read the script, he goes, "You think you can make this?" I'm like, "Don't I know I can make it? You know, I'll make it. That's what I want to do." So yeah, just being able to make something like this, especially for my first film.
Yes.
It's not a small film.
Definitely not.
It's an opening act of a feature, and like you said, there's so many locations and a huge cast.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that I can do that, off my own bat means I know I can do quite a lot more with the support of
When you get
the
proper
industry.
funding, yeah, definitely. Wow. Yeah, once again, it's a wonderful production. You can be truly proud of it. It's one of the most amazing shorts that I've seen the last couple of months. It's wonderful. The cinematography is great. The acting is bar none. Wonderful locations. It's definitely just a winner, and you can be proud of it, really.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks. Again, like I said, I had an amazing team. The cinematography is great because Matt is a genius behind the camera. The color grading is great because Matt will not let anything pass that isn't perfect. So, yeah, had an amazing team, got very, very lucky, worked really hard, and just wanted to make the thing, you know. And so I'm glad that it's making a lot of people happy or enjoy it, or for someone like you to go, I want to interview you. I'm like, that's really cool. I didn't think that would happen. I didn't think I'd be away on holidays doing a business interview. You know, that's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Have a nice meal and great evening.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.